I want to thank our players for your continued support. We recognize we haven't communicated well.
With everything we've learned about what it takes to operate this game at the level that you deserve, it's clear that we can't deliver on that original vision for PvE that was shown in 2019. What that means is that we won't be delivering that dedicated hero mode with talent trees, that long-term power progression. Those things just aren't in our plans anymore.
Overwatch has always been played with 2 teams of 6 players. Overwatch 2 will be played with 2 teams of 5 players.
But it's certainly easier to make sort of a single hero change and, maybe even like a hero rework like we've done in the past. But to change something so fundamental as, there's only one tank allowed, really kind of cascades into a lot of different questions and problems that demand answers.
Let's have some fun. Yep, that's my name, all right.
Bernie as well.
Points in a row. And we had a lot of issues with 2CP that we were never really able to solve. And the 2 biggest ones, they're related to each other.
Updates we're making to Season 11. In Season 10, we removed the old grouping restriction system and added a new system that separates wide and narrow groups so that they play in separate pools.
And honestly, we've let you down when it comes to delivering Overwatch content. We hear you, and we're committed to more continual updates on all things Overwatch 2.
Today, we are taking a critical look at Overwatch 2, a game that, for many, falls short of its original iteration. Despite the new features, this sequel hasn't quite captured the magic that made the first game a hit. In this video, let's explore my ideas for Overwatch changes we desperately need. While putting together my ideas to share with you on this video, I found myself searching through many other games that I thoroughly enjoy, and I also decided to take a trip back to previous Overwatch. Seems sometimes the best way forward is to go back. Let's dive in. As I began to sift through my thoughts, try to find out what's more important, what's less important, making a list, things like that, I found myself realizing that I could make a video for multiple hours because the game needs multiple things. So I thought I might take a more subtle approach, and let's just dwindle it down and start off with maybe focusing on 5 things that the game needs. I am very familiar that progress takes time. It's not something that happens in a day. So let's take small steps, and let's start off with number 1. Number 1 is we really need to make this game feel rewarding to play again. Going back to the original Overwatch, I found, and I had to remember, because I actually had forgotten because it's been quite some time, but on our player profiles, whenever we leveled up, we received reward incentives. I know this is back when we had loot boxes, but bear with me here. Something that Blizzard really needs to try to focus on here, and I'm not sure how they would do this, not my job, but look at ways to rewarding the player for simply playing the game. Things that other free-to-play titles do exceptionally well. Yes, we have the Battle Pass. Yes, it's not that great, but it's something. But we need to look at other ways to incentivize the player to continue to play the game. So, I have a few ideas for this. The first one, let's have a career menu in the hero gallery that's specific to each single hero. And in this menu, we would have various milestones, objectives, things that you would need to do with various characters in order to achieve certain unlockables, certain unique cosmetics, in-game effects, etc., etc. Maybe the screen looks like this. I'm sure all of you remember this screen, right? This is from the PvE presentation that we received from Blizzard not too long ago. It could be a screen similar to this, with objectives, in this case Tracer, Maybe you have to land 100 pulse bombs and you unlock a cosmetic spray. Or maybe you have to blink 10,000 times and you receive some sort of visual cosmetic for your blink animation. These types of things. We cannot go without mentioning, currently the ranked rewards in this game are just simply not there. I've gone over this in more detail in another video. I'll link it here at the top of the screen if you feel so inclined to take a look at it. But just to recap that video quickly, my suggestion was that Blizzard create either a kiosk or a shop, store, whatever you want to call it, for our ranked points, and in that store, shop, kiosk, whatever, we would be able to buy things such as weapon skins that were equivalent to our rank in Overwatch. We could buy skins for heroes that we like, and it would just be based on our rank. Maybe noises for our weapons, cosmetics that could work together to create visual effects, things like that. Simply, long story short, just creating more things to purchase with our ranked points. And finally, just to touch on briefly, a more in-depth daily and weekly challenge system for players. This could be looked at in many, many different ways. I personally would say keeping the daily and weeklies, having better rewards for them, and then maybe look at creating some sort of contract system or something that you can select manually, and then once you select it, that is your only goal that you're working towards. Obviously, you would still be able to do the weeklies and the dailies. And then once you achieve it, you get the reward and you go on to the next one. And maybe you just make it based on the current season. And then when a new season comes up, then you can work on another set of contracts. Something like that. And with number 1 out of the way, let's jump to number 2. Number 2 is a little bit more to the point. Being able to customize your experience within the game. What do I mean by this? I want to be able to customize everything surrounding the gameplay to my liking. I want to customize my HUD. I want to customize my player icons. I want to customize everything. Remember in Overwatch 1 where your rank showed on your character portrait? Yeah, I want that back. Remember the border and it showed your overall profile level? Yeah, I want it back. Blizzard said that they took these items away to reduce toxicity and things like that. So if that's the case, then give me the option to toggle it on or off. That simple. Done, move on to the next. Something else we really need in this game is to be able to fully customize our HUD. Yes, I know we can change the color, but we really need to take it a step further. If I want to move the ultimate circle, let's say from here to here, I should be able to do that. I should also be able to move my player icon with the health bar wherever I want to. Maybe I want to move it here. While we're talking about the HUD, what about having the health bars from my teammates on my HUD as well? It's obviously in the game. We've seen it in the PvE missions. Why not just make it a core feature for the game when you're playing PvP? At the very least, give it to the support players so they can have extra information when they're making their decisions. I think this is just a quality of life. If you don't want it there, maybe just give the option to toggle it on and off. Same as before. Simple, done, move on to the next. I feel like this isn't too much of a request. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Let's jump into the number 3 topic. So number 3 is a quickie, but I feel it's very important to mention this. At this point, why are we still calling this game Overwatch 2? Blizzard came out and said that the PvE was canceled, which was kind of the whole reasoning for going to Overwatch 2. Now that it's been canceled, why are we not just reverting back to Overwatch? Essentially, Overwatch 2, now that the PvE has been canceled, is essentially a shop update and losing 1 tank, which we didn't even need to lose that tank, Blizzard, if you just balanced your game correctly. I don't know everything that goes into this in terms of the legalities, but honestly, from just a consumer standpoint, Overwatch 2 was poorly received compared to original Overwatch. Blizzard, just get in front of it. Say you made some mistake, you made some errors. The player base would respect you a lot more if you simply just owned up to it. And then we go forward from that point. Start getting the game back to where it needs to be. That's it for number 3. Let's jump to number 4. For number 4, I have a handful of quality of life items that I wasn't quite sure where to put in the separate categories, so I figured I would just take them all and smush them into their own category. So, take a look on your screen. What do you see? Take a second. If you're an old Overwatch player like me, you'll know exactly what these are, and you're going to immediately have a crazy hit of nostalgia. If you're a new Overwatch player who's only started playing since Overwatch 2, maybe not so much, just take some notes. For anyone who does not know, these are referred to as player cards. You would see these at the end of any game, whether it be quick play or ranked, and it would be minor achievements for anyone who didn't snag play the game. So maybe you had the most elims, maybe you were the highest support in the game, maybe you were the tank that blocked just a crazy amount of damage. Whatever it was, there was a player card for so many things. This is the final version of the player cards. I want these back in the game now, Blizzard, tomorrow. Absolutely, without a doubt, get my player cards back in the game. Another quality of life item that we 100% need is we need to see the return of the looking for a group feature from the original Overwatch, or LFG for short. So for anyone who is unfamiliar with this, maybe because you are new to Overwatch, because you never played the original, or in the off chance that you're somebody who just never used this feature, it was essentially something that you could go into within the game and you could set up a lobby and you could tell other players that you are looking for other people to do certain things. It could be for quick play, it could be for ranked. You could set your SR for whatever the lobby was that you needed. You could select the position that you wanted to play, and then you would put it out there and people would either go on and create their own lobbies or they would join a lobby that looked appealing to them. Now, I think this is a great feature. Blizzard's response to why they removed this feature in Overwatch 2 is because they simply stated not enough players were using this feature. And to that, I would say to Blizzard, that simply means that you didn't do a great job at making this feature as great as it could be. Throwing something away because it's not doing what you want it to do, or maybe it's not being utilized to the extent that you want it to be used, that's just a clear indicator that it needs to be improved upon, not thrown away. Less is not more, Blizzard. Blizzard has this weird viewpoint of less is more when it comes to Overwatch 2. Less is not more. I want more. You market this game as a social game, something that you can play with others, play with friends, yet you have no type of social feature whatsoever within the game. How does that make sense? While we're talking about the social aspect of the game, let's piggyback off that and talk about something else that we need added to the game. Now, this isn't as crazy as the LFG, but I definitely feel it was a nice touch, more or less. We need the general chat back in the main menu screen. For all my Overwatch 2 players, you're probably scratching your head here. Don't worry, I got you. In Overwatch 1, in the main menu, there was what was called general chat. So if you were in a group, you had your group chat, or if you were solo, you didn't have any other chat other than simply the general chat. And the general chat is exactly what it sounds like. Anyone who was at the main menu lobby, or even, I guess you could use it also if you're searching for custom games or in LFGs, waiting or whatever, you could type in general chat. Now look, I'm not going to say there weren't a few times where there were some spicy topics being discussed, but at the very least, it created some level of social activity within the game. The last quality of life item is something that you see in a lot of other competitive games. We need a map voting system for whenever a game is queued, whether it be ranked or quick play. Long story short, once a lobby is generated by the matchmaker, a voting system comes up that allows you to pick a map, maybe give us 3 different options. If there's a tie, then there's a tiebreaker map, or maybe the game will auto-select a map that's not a part of the voting system, and then we go from there. Giving the players some sort of agency around selecting the game modes to some extent would be amazing. Someone like me personally, who gets so many push maps, it's incredibly annoying. Having something like this would at least damper some of that, and I feel it would be something that could just provide a quality of life in general when it comes to the matchmaker. With all those out of the way, we have finally reached number 5. All right, future me, throw a drum roll in there, please. guessed it. Blizzard, it's time. 6v6. When? 6v6 update. When? Season 11 6v6? 6v6 next week? Alright, all jokes aside, we need to bring back 6v6. Here's a disclaimer though. I'm not going to sit here and say that if we were to go back to 6v6 tomorrow, that every single issue within the game would be instantly fixed. I'm not saying that, by no means. But what I will say is going to 6v6 is definitely the step in the right direction for many things. But the main culprit here is the balance. The balance in this game has been atrocious. Blizzard simply saying that they removed a tank due to queue times is laughable. That's something that you can fix if you actually deep dive and find out why the queue times were what they were. I'm not going to get into it. It's a whole nother video. Everything that has become an issue could have been solved with balance. Double shield could have been solved with balance. Goats could have been solved with balance. The tank experience can be solved with balance. I'm not here to start an argument surrounding this topic. I know it's a hot topic, but what I will say is everyone needs to at least be on the same page that 5v5 was something that none of us asked for. This is something that Blizzard did on their own. And on that note, we are now at the end of the video. I would first like to thank everyone who requested this video. This is something that was requested within my community. I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you for everyone for commenting, liking, and subscribing from my last videos. I truly appreciate all of you. I hope this video has maybe opened your eyes to some possibilities that this game can achieve with a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of going back to the drawing board, a little bit of hopefully concentrated effort from the community. I'm eager to hear what everyone thinks about my suggestions in this video. Please leave your comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, all the things that the algorithm wants you to do. And on that note, I will see all of you in the next video.